We got the Knicks, we got the Pacers as I predicted. Here we go. Haha. So, the Knicks and the Pacers both beat their opponents in 6. Knicks beat a hobbled Joel Embiid, but a healthy Tyrese Maxey, and a non-existent Tobias Harris. The Pacers beat a Bucks team without Lillard and Giannis for most of the series. But that's not a reason to make an excuse about them, Doc Rivers. With that said, this is a top 5 defense in New York versus a top offense in Indiana. Where do I lean into? So here's a strategy for both teams. For the Pacers, keep doing what you're doing. 30 assists in this series against Milwaukee. They have to keep doing that. If you have to beat New York. To beat New York, you have to keep doing what you're doing. And that's passing the ball, sharing the ball, and scoring. Tyrese Halliburton has to score more though. Yes, he's passing the ball, he's distributing to Turner, to Siakam, and just in Game 6 alone to Toppin and McConnell. But for them to go further, Tyrese Halliburton has to score the ball as well. He didn't have to against Milwaukee, but he might have to do so against the Knicks, because for the Knicks, their goal is to make Tyrese Halliburton the scorer. Because with Siakam, they'll just put OG Anunoby on Pascal Siakam. Their teammates in Toronto, they used to battle one another in practice. They're probably going to cancel each other out. For the Knicks though, to beat the Pacers, they gotta make Tyrese Halliburton the scorer. They gotta make sure that the Pacers have to rely heavily on Halliburton to win that series. And this in spite of the fact that they have so much depth. Now, of course, if you're the Knicks though, your goal not only is to contain Halliburton, just to make Halliburton a scorer, but you have to keep up with Indiana scoring. In this series alone, there were times where the Knicks could barely score the basket, and they heavily rely on Jalen Brunson, which is an easier scheme to defend though. Mostly with Tom Thibodeau's systems, that if you shut down Jalen Brunson, or if you shut down Derrick Rose, you shut down the entire team. Now, who do I see from the Knicks guarding Halliburton? Well, DiVincenzo could be one of them. Josh Hart could be one of them. Deuce McBride could be one of them. Rebounding. They gotta win the rebounding battle. And I think they could. With Hartenstein, they could do that against this Pacers team. Miles Turner is not as physical compared to Joel Embiid. So I think rebounding alone, the Knicks won that. Like I said, for the Pacers though, how do you defend Jalen Brunson then? Well, they got 2 guys that can do that. Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith. Put those guys on Jalen Brunson. Let Halliburton take care of either Josh Hart or Dante DiVincenzo. And of course, the Pascal OG battle. And as far as the bench goes, well, former Knick Obi Toppin will be there to make sure that they won that series against his former team. Now, who do I lean towards into? This is such a great battle. I think it's a toss-up of a series, but I'm leaning towards Indiana. Pacers in 6, and here's why. I think Offensively, they're basically Captain America, where they can do this all day. If they score 120, the other team must keep up with them in order to win. That's Indiana's offense and defense. Remember, the Knicks have problems keeping up with the Sixers in some parts of their series, though. So they better hope their defense is on point against Indiana. Because offensively, I think they could hang with Indiana, though. Because Indiana doesn't play defense for most of the game. With that said, the Knicks do have a hard time scoring the basketball. So even if Indiana plays a slightly average defense, that might affect New York. So that's why I'm leaning towards Pacers in 6. This will be a great series though. See ya.